Well, one RFA down, one more to go as the New York Rangers and Keandre Miller are in agreement on a 2-year contract worth 3.872 million per season. And I'm going to talk about the deal. Do I like it? Do I hate it? Or am I in the middle? Which is pretty much where I am. I'm kind of in the middle on this deal, but we'll talk about why and we'll talk about the good, the bad, and all that with this deal. Before we jump into it, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Ranger fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next on the channel. Now, why do I like the deal? I like the deal because of the fact that they need every little bit of cap space right now. They need every little bit of cap space. And to get a guy like Miller at 3.8 isn't the worst, in my opinion. I feel like they could have got him cheaper because of the fact that Ryan Lindgren is the first pair defenseman. And if I'm the Rangers, I would have hung that over Keandre Miller the entire time. Yes, I know Miller puts up more points. That's probably his counter argument in negotiations. But at the same time, and at the end of the day, Ryan Lindgren is the top pair defenseman. And he's only making $3 million. So I feel like they could have went down in that ballpark or even just a little bit cheaper. And I know people are like, well, it's not that much more than you want. But yeah, every little bit of cap space does count right now at the end of the day. So that's just my opinion. But I don't hate this deal because with the cap jumping up as much as it is next year, I think that was also a reason why Miller got more than Lindgren is because of that cap jump next year. And I think that it was smart of the Rangers to have him under this cheap of a contract next year. But that's when we get into the question of, does this make sense to even be bridging Keandre Miller because of the fact that I feel like they should have just went long term with them, to be honest with you, because I'm trying to understand why this organization is valuing Barclay Goodrow as much as they are, because it makes little to no sense at all why they wouldn't want to move Barclay Goodrow, not only to potentially bring back a Tarasenko or Kane, but I know I've been getting into arguments on Twitter with people that, but I understand if you don't want that, but you can't deny that or argue that it would have made sense to move Barclay Goodrow to keep Keandre Miller around at a $5.5 to $6 million deal at 5 years to have him long term, kind of like the Brady Shea contract, because of the big cap jump and because of how much of a bargain it would be afterwards. Could the Rangers have something up their sleeves next offseason? And that's why I don't know. There is a guy that I really want the Rangers to target next offseason rather than paying Ryan Lindgren, which I'm sure I'll talk about on future podcast episodes or something like that. But again, I'm kind of indifferent about the deal. I feel like the way that Miller played in the second half of the past year, or especially after that suspension where he was suspended for spitting on Drew Doughty, he wasn't really playing the best hockey, especially in the playoffs too. But at the same time, he put up 40 plus points and most of them at even strength, which is kind of the key there. He put up, no pun intended with that one, but yeah, he put up 43 points, 9 goals, 34 assists in 79 games. So I understand why he got that type of money, but at the same time, he didn't have the RFA hammer. He wasn't arbitration eligible. So it was a little strange to me that they couldn't get him at a bit more of a bargain, but at least he is an RFA at the end of this deal, which is the other good thing that I wanted to mention with this deal. He is an RFA by the end of this. So the Rangers should have at least a bit of leverage in negotiations with him after this. So let's hope. Hopefully, also there's not a no trade clause in this contract, because that would piss me off. But possession metrics are pretty good. His Corsi for even strength is actually pretty solid at 51.5% this past year. The year before at 50.1%. So not too bad there if you want to look at the possession metrics. I don't know. For a guy that, I guess, also because of the fact that he doesn't play on the power play or anything, I don't know. I'm pretty split on the deal because I'm just worried that he's going to replicate this type of season and potentially even put up more points going forward. And then they're going to be screwing themselves and we're just going to get into a contract problem in a few years with Keandre Miller because they didn't go long term to get him at a bargain now. I just feel like it doesn't make sense to go with a short-term deal right now. I understand with how tight they are on cap. And again, they clearly value Barclay Goodrow, but to me, I would have drove Barclay Goodrow to the airport if it meant they could have got Keandre Miller at 5.5 or 6 million per. If that was not a realistic option, then hey, it is what it is. But to me, I feel like that could have potentially been a route they could have went down. And if they didn't explore it, that's a bad job by management and everything. But at the end of the day, none of us will know. I won't know. You guys won't know. None of us ever will, because of the fact that we don't know what happens behind closed doors or anything like that. So there's nothing more I could say or do. All I got to do is just hope that K'Andre Miller won't cost as much in his next contract. But obviously, I'm still rooting for the guy to put up absurd numbers in the next 2 years, because of the fact that I want my hockey team to do good and because I want him to do good. So at the end of the day, I'm not to the moon about the contract. I'm not mad about the contract. I'm kind of just in the middle, where it's like I would have loved for them to have potentially saved more on a long-term deal now for a better tomorrow. But I'm also happy because of the fact that the Rangers have some extra cap space to potentially work with if they did still want to go the route of potentially moving a Barclay Goodrow and bringing in Vladimir Tarasenko, or bringing back Patrick Kane. If they wanted to go that route, they do have that option now, where if they did extend them long term, that probably wouldn't be an option. Also, maybe they want flexibility at the deadline. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas. But also, it was reported from Vince that Lafreniere's extensions in the works right now. That's looking to be in the 2.5 to 2.7 million. And to that, I don't agree with that one. I'm a little more upset about that contract than the Miller one, just because of the fact that not that I want him to be signed to a long-term deal, but I'm not happy because I don't think he deserves more than Kaapo Kakko. That's just my opinion. Kakko's been a better player, because I talk about this all the time on a podcast. Statboy Steven really hits it home with this point, that it doesn't make sense that Kaapo Kakko, who is usually more of a productive player, even when he's not putting up the points, he's still noticeable and he's still doing the little things. Where Lafreniere, when he does not put up the points, he is virtually invisible out there on the ice. So it doesn't make sense to me that he would get more. Again, the cap jump might be, even though it's just by 1 million, but next year it's going to be a big cap jump. Maybe that's why Lafreniere has the ability to command a bit more than Kakko. But I don't know. If you're just comparing the players, I just don't see how it makes sense. But regardless, I'm not going to be mad and throwing things or pissed off about some of these contracts, because at the end of the day, it's up to management to work out the cap situation. It's not me. But it just would be nice if the Rangers could have got Miller under a long-term deal. That's just my opinion. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would love to hear from you guys. Are you guys fans of the contract? Are you guys pissed about it? Or are you in the middle, kind of like me, where you wish you got him long term, but this is still a solid deal considering the production that he gives you? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Would love to hear from you guys. Leave a like on the video if you enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Ranger fans. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next on the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Let's go Rangers.